name is Krzysztof Rządca, and together with Maciej Malawski, we are co-chairing the 26th and the first ever virtual edition of Europower. Thank you all for joining us for this special week. Thank you for submitting great papers and for helping in the scientific organization of the event. It all began when we met with Maciej at Europower in Santiago de Compostela 3 years ago. We've been working on this project for the last 2.5 years. During that time, just in our core group of organizers, we've had 2 babies and 3 major job changes. So we thought we had seen it all. But then the COVID came. I remember back in February, I was on a playground with my kids. This was around the full paper deadline. So I was on my cell phone constantly refreshing the EasyChair stats to see how many papers we had. But I was also almost constantly refreshing another page, showing the coronavirus case count. We did very well in terms of number of submissions, 158 papers. Unfortunately, the coronavirus was even more successful. Coached by Luc Bouget, our mentor from the steering committee, back in April, we decided not to organize the physical conference, which, as we see now, was a very good decision. We spent the next months figuring out how to make the conference more than just the Springer proceedings. And I hope you would like the results. Our principal goal when organizing this virtual event was to make it as conference-like as only possible, but we need your help. I've been in this community since the 2nd year of my PhD. I published one of my first research papers in Europower in Dresden in 2006. And since then, I've been many times back. This mostly because of you, this great community that inspires new research, but it's also fun to talk to. So remember, we are here not only to watch the talks, but to meet people, to discuss new ideas, to give and to get feedback. If you want to follow the talks of the conference, we strongly advise to use our YouTube live stream, which we will transmit the talks and the Q&As that follow. As the technical program is organized in 2 parallel sessions, there will be 2 simultaneous live streams for most of the time. Each session has its own Slack channel. Please use those to connect to the authors, ask questions, write remarks, be active. The session chair will use Slack to moderate Q&As after each talk. And finally, the coffee breaks will be organized on gather.town, which is a very lightweight platform for more ad hoc discussions. It's kind of a virtual world. It runs in your browser, so you just go to the web page, open this in your browser, and it just works fine. So I hope you will have a good time here. We have almost 400 people registered on Slack now. So this is quite a successful event, I'd say. But please be extra kind when interacting with people. In online interactions, even with our cameras on, we lose a lot of context. So the person you're talking to can miss a joke or think that your comment is not what you wanted it to say. So please be extra kind, provide extra content to your feedback so that everyone feels that is treated nice. But also, please remember to be active. The authors had to do huge work to be here. First, write the good paper, then to take into account the reviewers' comments. Finally, make these short videos, which is something entirely new to most of us. So please remember to thank them and to reward them with your feedback. Maciej?
Yes, so next slide, please. And about the scientific program activity. So, yeah, we had 158 papers submitted. So this just happened. The deadline was before the outbreak of the pandemic. But then all the reviewing process has to be done during the probably most serious lockdowns that we had in Europe. So the technical program committee did really a heroic effort, and so big thank you for that. We have 256 reviewers producing 614 reviews, which if we sum up, it would give us something like 800 pages of text, which is about the same as the volume of our proceedings. Okay, and then on the next slide, we can see that we accepted finally 39 papers, which gives the acceptance ratio of 25%, almost exactly. And yeah, we had 4 reviews per papers. We can also say that 1/3 of the papers had additional software and data artifacts, which were also reviewed. It is important for reproducibility. That's why we have best paper and best artifact session tomorrow, where you can learn more about these artifacts. And also the proceedings are now available in open access for 1 month from Europar website. Yeah, so you have to go from to the program of the conference, and then when you click on these papers, you can access them freely. Okay, and I would like to also say about our keynotes. So we have 3 keynotes, keynote lectures invited, and yeah, there was a key to invite each of the speakers. So first, Eva Dillman. She is not only excellent researcher in the area of scientific workflows in high performance computing clusters and clouds, but also she comes originally from Warsaw, Poland. Then we have Jeffrey Fox, who has a very long, excellent track record of scientific computing, building parallel systems, recently working on cloud and big data tools and system, and he will receive the Europar Achievement Award this year. And finally, we have Piotr Sankowski, who is representing our local community and very good traditions of Warsaw School of Mathematics, Logic, and Computing Theory algorithms. Some of you remember the reverse Polish notation. Yeah, that was one of the inventions of the Polish logicians many years ago. And yeah, Piotr Sankowski is the recipient of 3 most prestigious European Research Council ERC grants. So yeah, we are looking forward to these presentations.
So now a few words from Luc Buget, the chair of Europar Steering Committee, and also our mentor when preparing this event. Luc?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, welcome to all participants, wherever you come from. It's really my great pleasure as the president, the chairman of the steering committee of this conference to welcome you and to convey to you all our congratulations for your scientific commitment. This conference is the 26th edition of Europar. Europar is a European conference which has been organized in various cities all over Europe, but it is the first time that it is so east in Europe. And this is a special achievement for us to have been able to organize a conference in Poland. Actually, we have been in various places in Europe, but never so east until now. And I hope that it will express our commitment to integrate all possible countries, all possible communities in Europe in our scientific community about power and distributed computing. Europa is a bit a special conference because it is a European conference where, in opposite to many other conferences, everything stays in the hands of the local organizers. We don't have, as in other conferences, on the one side, the scientific committee, and on the other side, the local organization committee. For Europa, the local people are both in charge of the scientific organization and the local organization. And this makes Europa unique because it is quite different on each year, depending on the place where it is organized and on the organizing team. So this year it is very Polish. And we are very happy that it is so rooted in the Polish community today. Europa is a European conference, and this is not only European by the localization or by the nationality, it is also European by the commitment for European research. We strongly believe that the European research community is a very major thing to our hearts, that the European scientific community has a unique role to play in the international scientific community. I mean, we think that European researchers have their place together with the researchers from other continents or other countries, and that grouping together and holding this European conference has a meaning which is much beyond the simple organization of a conference. Actually, Europe this year has been going through very extreme challenges. First of all, you may remember that 1 year ago, everything was only talking about Brexit and about the question of does Europe is good for anything? I mean, and is it worth maintaining Europe? And 4 years ago, everybody was talking about the pandemic, about COVID. And it turns out that Europe has been the driving force to overcome the pandemic and raising an economic and scientific recovery plan after the pandemic. So in the same year, we have experienced the depth about the usefulness of Europe and the evidence of its usefulness. And I am very happy to mention it today, where the conference is held, that somehow Europa, at its very small scale, plays its role in this commitment for the European research and the European conviction that Europe means something. So Europe means something at the political level, and Europe means something at the scientific level, and Europe means something at the distributed and power computing level. And I am really happy and proud to be the chairman of this conference.
Thank you, Luc. So a note from our generous sponsors. And before we proceed, this is what was supposed to be the conference location of this conference. This is a 19th century building that housed the library of my university. And in fact, Frédéric Chopin used to live as a teenager just next door. So IBM, our gold sponsor, will have a session on Friday on using IBM HPC solutions for commercial purposes, and also commercial purposes in artificial intelligence. They will cover architecture, software stack, and storage solutions. Our strategic partner Huawei organizes an industrial keynote on Thursday by Bill McCall, who is a research director in in Huawei Zurich. Bill McCall will have a presentation with a very enticing title, A New Golden Age for Parallel Computing Research, New Methods, Models, Algorithms, Software, and Hardware. This keynote will be followed by a panel discussion with Tommy Jongmin Deng from Huawei Sweden, Professor Piotr Bilski from Warsaw University of Technology, where he works on AI in acoustics, Professor Krzysztof Kluza from AGH University in Krakow, and Piotr Sobecki, who is the head of the Applied AI Lab in the Polish National Information Processing Institute. The panel will be moderated by Professor Aleksandra Przegalińska-Skierkowska, who is currently a professor at Koźmiński University, former visiting scholar at MIT. She published a series of works on the social and organizational context of the new technologies like virtual worlds and AI. Springer, Lecture Notes Computer Science, supports our Best Paper Awards with actual money awards, for which we are very grateful. And finally, Google. Google Cloud is now expanding its presence in Europe, and they are expanding its engineering presence in Europe. So they are looking for new hires, especially with research background. They will send us a form to fill if you're interested, because they are organizing a series of lectures this fall for mostly graduate students and early career researchers. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in this community. See you around during this week. Please, I hope to have many fruitful discussions with you, and I hope to see you one day in Warsaw in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very warm welcome to everyone.
And I'm sorry, the technical session will start at 2:30, so in a few minutes. Thanks.
Yes, session A will stay in the same room as we are now, so you can continue watching on YouTube or on Zoom. And session B, you have to connect to the second room. So we have 5 minutes to walk to the other room and continue the conference.